My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Hey everyone, it's Jim Chapman with Local Leaders, the podcast, and I want to make you aware of a fantastic deal they have going on right now at Fit Body Boot Camp in Denham Springs, Louisiana. If you go to the link getfitdenhamsprings.com/local leaders, you can get $30 off of the regular price of $129 for 30 days of classes. Go to the link, click it, sign up. 30-day classes for only $99 through that link. It's a special deal offered to all of our listeners at Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. And I have, I just call her a rock star across from me right now, Miss Kayla Lockhart Johnson. You know her as Kayla and Krewe from Covington and Associates. So first of all, welcome to Local Leaders.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you on today. And there's a little history with you and I'm going to tell people this right off the bat. So in 1998, I was a young guy. I think I was 23 at the time. And me and my wife were looking for our first house. And this lady across from me sold it to us. And believe it or not, 25 years as an outside sales rep, she made an impression on me even at that time. So I tell people all the time, I'm like a sponge. I soak off of people things that I think would benefit me in life. In other words, mannerisms they may do. I've always been very observant. One of the things that I got from Miss Kayla, and she'll be the first to tell you, I don't know how you got that from me, but she was very patient with us. We were young buyers, had never had a house before, probably barely qualified, and she was ultra patient with us, worked with us very well. And I was amazed, well, not amazed, not even really surprised, but her career since then has just been amazing. You have really accomplished, I don't want to say everything you can accomplish in real estate because you would probably say, no, there's still things I want to do, but
there's still things I want to do.
You've had a career that's hard to beat, ma'am.
I have been very blessed.
Yes.
And that's what I say it. Not everybody gets this opportunity. However, I have put the hours in, the time in, and I love what I do. And I think that's where it all starts.
Yeah, it really does. And, it's all about impressions. And one impression you made on me, and you're going to laugh when I pull this out, but I brought something today. And this made a huge impression on me. Of course, I was 23 and just about anything impressed me at that point in life. But when we closed on our house, you gave me this. I'm going to grab it.
Oh, surprises.
You recognize that lady?
I do. Oh my God.
Looky there.
She has a lot of hair.
Yes, she has a lot of hair.
Wow. So this is actually, I would love to be able to get these books again because I think they were one of the best things I've ever given out to anyone.
100%.
Okay. And
you blew
still
my mind with,
have it.
yes, I kept it all those years. Look at that.
So we have so gotten techie, not because I'm techie, because I'm not, but my team is. And so we now put everything on a jump drive.
Yeah.
I was doing books, well, not books like this. I'm going to have to take this and copy it. But so we do still do something similar, but it's now it's techie. But I'm so excited.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
look
is
at all this.
Great.
All these people.
I'm so glad I cut my hair. Yeah. I had gone to a national convention, and they were selling these books, and I'm like that's awesome. I wonder if people would like it. And I did them for years, and then the company went out of business, so I couldn't get them. I couldn't find anybody. So I need Brooke to get back on this and try to find it because I really had forgotten about these. And each one had the little slots.
Yeah, yes. They've got a little envelopes in them. You can put your receipts.
I'm so glad you brought
Isn't that cute?
And yes.
So here's the point I'm getting at with this, and I'm gonna kind of hold it up for the camera so people can see that. Miss Kayla way back in the day, y'all.
Don't judge the hair.
I love the hair. So I can still remember when you handed me that, and of course it was our first home. And so I didn't even know about closing gifts, right? Mm-hmm. So I buy the house was the gift to me. I mean, that was like, yes, I got my first house. That I looked at that and I'm like, wow, this had to cost a ton of money. I remember thinking that, and I'm like, but it was a great gift because back then tech was not what it is now, and it was the perfect place to keep all my stuff, all my receipts.
And I have, when I do give them, and the last what we were doing, and Brooks actually had been working to try to find them, were folders, and it had our information on the outside. But it's just a place that you can keep everything at once that has to do with the house. And like for new construction, it has all their paint colors, it has the sub list, and so it's just a reference to go back.
Yes.
And for us, because those subs do change, one from builder to builder, from job to job. So it tells us who was on the job. So it is great information, but I mean, it's been a long time from that book, so I'm happy to see that.
Yes, yeah. and look, proof that here's the interesting part of all this from an old salesperson here myself. Her business card's still on the front, right?
Yeah, and that
30 years from now or then, if I wanted to find a house and I was like, I need that realtor. What was her name? I could always pull this out and there it'd be.
Yes.
So,
we didn't even have email then.
Right.
So we couldn't put you in a database.
No.
Right. So,
yeah. Crazy, but just an awesome gift. And
I'm so glad you have it.
Yeah. It made it through the flood. We had 6 feet in there.
Wow.
And it made it through.
It made it through.
Yeah. I grabbed it and put it up in my attic for whatever reason.
You kept it this long.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes. So, well, thank you for that gift. It's taken me
very
24 years to tell you that.
Thank you for saying it. So.
No problem at all. So, how long have you been in LP?
Earth.
Born and raised.
I have the Raspberry side and the Lockhart side, so both sides go very deep.
Very deep.
My dad was born and raised here in Denham Springs, and my mom was also Denham Springs, but her mom was from Watson. My grandfather was from Jennings area, but moved here because of my grandmother.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I always say if you have a last name that has a street involved in it, you have deep roots here, right?
Very deep roots, because my grandma Lockhart was an Ellis, so both Lockhart and Ellis were both LP people.
Yes, yes.
But hey, that's what makes me proud.
That's right. You love LP, right?
I do love LP.
Yeah, me too. And you have, we're going to talk about your personal life a little bit, and then we'll get into your business. You have 2 children, Brooke and Blake. You list Blake as your favorite. Just kidding, Brooke.
Oh, that's really a challenge. That's a competition that goes on daily. So,
yes, it can change daily, right?
It
I know that
does
feeling.
change daily. I understand until you have
100%, 100%. And you also describe them as having incredible spouses, which is impressive when you say that about son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws, right? So incredible spouses. You have 3 grandchildren.
I have 3 beautiful grandbabies.
Apples of your eye.
They are, this is where I get emotional, but they had told my son after his injury he would never have children. And so I have 3 blessings from God.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. And I'm not a grandfather yet, but I always hear that you think you love your kids, wait till you have your grandkids.
You don't get mad at the grandkids.
Yeah. And you've done it. You've learned it by
absolutely.
then, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's awesome. You love to travel.
I love to travel.
Yeah.
Some may say I worked so that I can travel.
Right.
One, it's my way of kind of just unwinding, being able to detox from the crazy world, because my days are very long. They really start at 7 a.m. or 7:30, and they go till I fall asleep at night. So the phone never turns off. And so when I do go out of town, I take a travel phone. My team can always reach me. The office can reach me. And I unwind. You got to do that.
You really do. And, Miss Kayla, it's interesting with real estate agents, especially the hours. You got to keep in mind that it has to be convenient for the buyer.
That's correct.
Or the person wanting to view the house. Well, they have jobs. So their jobs are typically 9 to 5s. So they have to do it on their time off, which means that's your time to work, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody's different. You have people that work odd hours on nights or weekends, or so your times are always, if you're doing multiple clients at a time, you've got multiple times that you're working, which is typically all day long. But at the same time, their questions have to be answered. It's typically their largest purchase at that time in their life. And so they need that attention. Yeah,
100%. And you also list yourself as a huge Alabama Crimson Tide fan. We're just kidding. She's a Tiger through and through, purple and gold, baby.
Yeah. I normally say curse words about that Bama name.
Yeah, she's a huge LSU fan and world renowned at Tiger Stadium for the Krewe tailgate, right?
I have a great Krewe tailgate. Probably my best marketing idea, and I kind of sold it to myself, right? This can be used as marketing, but really it was used just because I love the tailgate,
right?
And they made life so easy for it.
Yeah, and just a fantastic idea. You have clients, family, friends pop by,
and it's open to all.
Yeah,
so. We really have had a lot of great people and people I've reconnected with through the years that I had worked with. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a great idea. And look, we love our Tigers, and nobody tailgates like LSU Tiger fans, right?
Nobody tailgates like LSU.
That's right. So your love for travel, you list the British Virgin Islands as. You've traveled a lot of places. You got some trips that Brooke was telling me about coming up. Ireland.
I do, and Italy.
Bucket list for me. Yeah.
I'm so excited about the Italy trip. It's actually for a wedding. Yeah. So, and it's for a great client of mine's daughter, and I'm just, watched this child grow up. So I'm excited about the wedding, but I'm really excited about being on the Amalfi Coast.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Wow, beautiful. Now, what about the British Islands to you is it just picturesque?
It is. Yeah. It's just the water, the islands, and just the people there. And you're basically, I call it Disney World on water, because you're just in heaven. It is friendly. I don't have to think at all. I have to think about what I want to eat for the day, what bathing suit I'm going to wear, and what cover up and hat. And that's my thoughts for the day. So cell service is terrible there, which is not a bad thing for a realtor to take a trip.
Right.
And then we just get on the sailboat and we pop from island to island, and each island offers something unique to it.
Yeah.
So, and the food's fantastic. And the best part is I come back losing weight every time because I'm eating lobster at every stop.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's diet. And so I normally drop 7 to 10 pounds. So
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's like it's a diet plan and it's a great trip.
There you go. Your first diet tip,
yes.
ladies and gentlemen. Go to the British Virgin Islands.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it's nothing like it. You're no high rises. I mean, everything's just nature, and it's just, and again, each one offers something unique.
Yeah. You're a beach gal, obviously. You like the sand and the sun.
I do. I'm an Aquarius. I love the
Yeah,
water.
yeah. Hey, when it comes to podcasting local business, I want perfection. And when it comes to banking, I want personal service, and that's why I bank with Hancock Whitney. Hancock Whitney Bank not only provides me with a local business banker, but also the experience and knowledge only a bank with a history of over 100 years can provide. With over 230 branches in the Gulf South, Hancock Whitney can service all of your banking needs, including commercial lending, small and large business accounts, personal bank accounts, and much more. For more information, visit HancockWhitney.com. Hancock Whitney Bank, your dream, their mission. Very good. Very good. So we're going to get into your business a little bit. As we mentioned earlier, you're a real estate agent. Your team is Kayla and Krewe. Very, very nice ring to that. And your brokerage.
Give Brooke that credit.
Yeah?
Yeah, Brooke
Thought
came
of
up
that?
with the cruise. So it was Kayla and Co. And the board made us as agents stop looking like we were a brokerage. So it could not have the word company in it.
Got it.
Certain other things besides company.
Yeah.
And so Brooke and I are riding, and she's got that knack for coming up with
She does.
creativeness, which is
Yes.
she's my marketing.
Yes.
And she's like, what about crew? Like the Mardi Gras crew. Let's spell it so it's K and K. And I said, I love it. That's genius. I'll take it. And so there we go. It was just as simple as a car ride.
Awesome. Well, it really is great. And we were talking off camera. Her daughter is like a genius at coming up with names for things and just creatively. She's really, really good at what she does. So shout out to her. She's off camera right now. So, I'm being nice, but she does a fantastic job. So your broker is Covington and Associates, another
Local,
deep-rooted company here, right?
Yes, and actually through marriage, Lawson is related. His
Really?
dad,
Okay.
His dad's brother married my mother's first cousin. If you're Livingston Parish, there's a weave somewhere.
Yes.
So I watched Lawson grow up, and a little tidbit there is Lawson babysat, and he hates for me to say that, so I'll probably get in trouble. But anyway, he just was like one of my kids growing up. But now I have to say there were a group of girls, beautiful girls, that also babysat for me. So I think that's why he really hung around. He was using the kids.
Right. Yeah.
To get to them closer. But anyway.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Lawson, I felt like, was one of my kids for many years till he became my boss.
Oh,
He still questions if he's my boss, but I tell him he is.
I kind of question that too. Yeah. You just make him think that.
I give him that.
That's it. So, you filled out a questionnaire, and to me, I already knew this because you sold me my house, but experience is where you really stand out. You got your real estate license in 1988.
I know.
That's a long time ago.
Very old.
No, you don't. No, you're not. No, you're seasoned. You're seasoned.
Great season. Like that.
Some 34 years ago is when you started in this industry, and I'll tell you what. You have a very interesting story into how you got into real estate through your cousins.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, one of them is actually Lawson's aunt.
Okay.
So that's Jackie and Claudia. They are sisters. They're my mom's first cousins. I grew up. I mean, our family was very close knit. My mom her mother had 5 sisters, all had multiple children. I think Juju was the only one that maybe had 2 children. And so I was very close with them. And my dad developed when I was young, so I always kind of had that interest and that love, whether I wanted it or not. It just was inbred in me.
It was in your blood.
And it was in my blood. And I loved, he would ride us around on Sunday and say, I bought this property, I'm going to develop this here, I'm going to cut this up, I'm going to do this. And I enjoyed it. It just was fascinating to me. So fast forward to adulthood, and I had a business in Denham, and that was an exercise salon. And so, I met a lot of people, made a lot of friends through that, and they would talk about wanting to buy a house, and I'm like, oh, I've got cousins that are agents, and then I wanted to do the riding around and looking, and so I would ride them around. We'd find the house. I'd call Jackie and Claudia and say, okay, I've got this friend, they want this house. I basically had done the deal, and they would write it up, they would work it through, and I'd get a weekend at the condo. And I thought, this is great.
Yeah, this is an awesome trade-off.
I get it, the whole thing. I get to go to the beach for the weekend.
Yeah.
So they quickly, probably a year or two into it, said, you have too many friends. You need to get your own license and leave us alone. So that's how I thought, okay, I'll just do it part-time. Well, part-time led to 80 hours a week, so it wasn't quite part-time, and it's still here.
Funny how life works like that,
yes.
huh?
I know.
Yeah, just amazing. And that kind of leads me to my first question, and that is, you have longevity. Longevity in any business speaks volumes. Number one, it tells you that person probably knows what they're doing. They've went through a lot to get to where they are in all likelihood, because none of us have these long careers where it's always like this, right?
Right.
And look, people forget that when you're a business person, you have a personal life that can go haywire. We were talking about that off camera, how, sometimes you have to put on a face because that's part of your job, but behind the scenes, people have no idea what might be going on in your life, right? So, what do you attribute to your longevity? How you've lasted? I mean, the real estate market, it's kind of like this.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
What would you say has been kind of your key to sticking in it for so long? And
I think there's a couple of different keys. I mean, one, my referral base is tremendous, and without that, no agent can make it in this business.
Yeah.
I as a top level,
right,
and to be able to remain in the top 1 or 2% in this parish from the time that I started, because I originally was the rookie of the year my first year, is very much unheard of, and I'm very proud by it. But I think that it is the loyalty that I have of customers. I mean, I have one client, and actually it's his daughter's wedding, and that relationship's a 30-year relationship.
Wow.
So, and he was a realtor. And gave up his real estate license over time. It started off as I gave referrals, and then he brought me and then said, okay, let's just half the client. And then it started off as I halved. And then it went to the referral. I just gave him a referral for each thing because he still had his license. And he was a builder and developer at that point.
Yeah.
And then he's like, never mind, I don't want a referral. Just take the whole thing. It's yours, and we still work together today.
Wow.
So it's clients like that. And there are many people that fall. Of course, Harold is the one that I feel like he's more my brother than he is my client. He has definitely been a voice of reason in my head. I used to accuse him and my dad of having conversations because they'd each tell me the same thing when I went to them for advice. And it's like, y'all, did you talk to Harold? Did you talk to Daddy? So
That's
and they,
funny.
Say, well, of course not. And it's like, y'all say the same thing. And when my dad passed, he really, not that he's that age, but he fell into that role of that is the person I go to for my guidance. So it's definitely his wife was my Sunday school teacher, so there's a friendship there. So it's just a great, strong base. I think that's my number one longevity.
Yeah.
The other is, I say we try to do our very best job. We don't get everything right. I mean, nobody gets everything right. But what I do know that people do know about us is we give it our all.
Yeah.
And that's what people kind of see. I've tried to stay active in the community to keep that face out there. I think that's part of it. I just think it's so many different things. I don't know that there's actually one thing other than, I guess the top thing would be the loyalty and the referrals.
Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff there. And what impresses me a lot about you is consistency. You can be number one at something once or twice and, it be luck. Right. When you are at the top of your game for as long as you have been, that's just straight up consistency. And that comes with a ton of hard work. There's nothing easy. No, you're not out there roofing a house, and I'm neither am I,
right.
But hard work is not just physical. And one thing about what you do is mentally, it can wear on you, right? Which is why you need those trips to the British Virgin Islands.
And look, it's also the people you surround yourself with that are on your team. And I think that I've been very blessed. I had Shelly Simmons started with me, and she now manages at CJ Brown. Shelly started with me after I sold her house. Yeah. And then Matt Hughes started with me. And Matt, literally, when Blake was injured when he was in the Marines, I had to, I went to Germany immediately to be with him. And that was 4.5 long months. And I gave Matt my 17-year-old daughter, which is Brooke, and that was a test on its own. And and I gave him my business and I gave him my house and said, it's here. And this all happened in a matter of 24 hours. Jesus. So you have to trust the people you work with. And then I have Brooke and Meg now on the team, and everybody has their own role. And I am not a micromanager. I try to stay out of their lane. I am not good at marketing. What I am good is vision and implementing. And so that's what I do. So I stay out of my own way.
Oh,
Meg's the
there's
organizer.
You a great lesson.
Yes. It is true. I think too many people get in their own way.
150%. And probably some of the best advice I've ever heard on this show is figure out what you're good at, do that, figure out what you're not good at, and hire someone to do it.
That's right.
Yes. And a huge key to your success. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now, I want to back up for a second. Your son, you mentioned he was shot?
Yes.
Was he in the military?
He was a Marine.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He's still a Marine because once a Marine,
always
a
right.
Marine. I'm sorry. I get that wrong all the time.
Yes.
I tried to tell the government he was my son. They let me know whose he was. But anyway, yes, he was. He was severely injured. We did not know if he would pull through. And they said he'd never walk again or have children. So
proving them wrong daily.
totally blessed. Yes, it's been 15 years, and he's had 46 surgeries, and he looks amazing. If he walked in, you would not know. Now, he has a lot of internal issues, but he superintendent for one of the large building companies here.
Wow. And
just does great. Coaches a tournament team softball for my granddaughter, and it's just such a blessing, and it's such a God gift.
Yeah. Probably the toughest time of your life.
Still is. You see, 15 years later, I still can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's a hero. And
he doesn't like that word. Actually, the Channel 9 came to interview him after he came home, and they said hero, and he said, "I'm not a hero. I was doing my job." So that's how a true Marine and military, not just Marine. Oh, so sorry, but
no, don't
anyway,
apologize.
That's how they feel. They were doing their job, and one of our cousins was one of the missionaries that was captured in Afghanistan, and Blake was in college, and he was doing a paper because his goal was to be FBI or CIA. And I read it. I was proofing his paper, and I'm like, he's going into service. And lo and behold, that is exactly what he did. Let us know right after Christmas. So he chose it because he said, I don't want you and Brooke to one day be sitting here and people are here fighting us. And that's what's going to happen if we don't go and take care of it ourselves. And so that was his whole reason for going over, or for joining. And so anyway. You
raised him right, Mama. Great job.
I guess, I still would like to not have the complications he goes through. But
sure.
Yes, he makes me very proud.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay, so we're gonna go back to more positive stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so you have served over 3,000. Y'all wrap your mind around that. 3,000 families, managed and closed over 70 residential and commercial developments in Livingston Parish, and you are one of the top 10 agents in the greater Baton Rouge area. And to wrap your mind around that, 3,500 agents just in the greater Baton Rouge area. My first question, are there too many agents?
I don't think the question should really be, are there too many agents? I think there are too many agents that do not take the job serious. I think that, would you want to go to a doctor that does it part-time and just does it for extra money?
No. No way.
And so that's where I think we lack in the industry. And I think there are agents that give the ones of us that it is a career, it is our job. We live this, we breathe this, and we get up every morning and we give 1,000% every day.
Yeah.
And then you have, I can't tell you how many calls that I have had through my years that says, look, I don't trust this person, so I need you to give me the advice of how to buy and what I need to do and who I need to go through. But they're my cousin's cousin or my friend's friend, but they really don't know what they're doing. Right. And I can't ever reach them because they're at their other job. That's where it gets really a challenge, because then we're given information that could make us liable on something, but yet, you follow where I'm trying. I'm trying to really be guarded, not be so rude.
I understand.
The way I really
and
could be.
Look, it's you're doing serious business here. You're someone's biggest investment in a lot of cases.
In most cases.
Yeah.
In most cases. And with the laws that have changed and the financing that has changed, it is important to know, for an agent to know this stuff in and out. And not every lender is for every buyer. And you need to know what company you should send them, what program you should send them to, what's their best, because everybody has a different story.
Yes.
And so, we need, if you're part-time, and some are less than part-time, that's where the bad name comes in that we get.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I won't say who, but someone used to accuse me of, what'd you do? Just ride around and eat bonbons all day and look at houses? Well, that's far from what we do. So
they all think that,
far
don't they?
From what we do.
Yeah.
That's far from what I do.
Yeah.
And I have many of friends I'd put on that list with me.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I think some it is about going to lunch. I think yesterday I ate lunch in about 2 minutes, and it was at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But we don't stop, and so there's that balance. I'm not going to tell you that sometimes I don't go to lunch. We get calls from people all the time wanting to take us to lunch, and
of course,
that's just not for me. I want to work. I want to service my clients, and we're blessed to have a lot of clients, and I need to make sure that we get all of them serviced.
Yes, yes, indeed, and you have sure serviced a lot over your time. I'm going to cover some of the things that you've done service-wise in your industry, and some of your accolades. You were named Rookie of the Year, as you mentioned, in 1988. You served 4 terms as president of the Livingston Parish Board of Realtors. You've served on several planning boards and advisory boards, which are not exactly the funnest things in the world, and that's giving of yourself, giving of your time. You were founding chair of the Real Estate and Economic Forecasting LP. You are Guild Luxury Home Specialist certified, and you're a 2015 graduate of Leadership Livingston.
Right.
Wow, ma'am. That's a lot of good stuff right there. And look, I graduated in 2020 class. I think Miss Brooke.
Yeah.
What class were you? 2018. And Tiffany, what class were you? There you go. So we got a lot of representation for our chamber in here.
I think born and raised. I want to do it again. I'm with Brooke. Born and raised here. I literally did not know some of what I learned.
Yes.
I thought it was such a great honor to be in that. I really wish every Livingston Parish person could go through that class, because it was just incredible. It was
a life changer for me.
And the people you meet in it. So
yeah,
you form a lot of great relations.
Networking's a huge thing, and relationships and all of those things, and just what you learn about the parish that you didn't realize existed,
I know.
Growing up here.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
I mean, and I thought I had seen every little corner, but I had not.
Yes. So all of those experiences, and you wrap all that up and all these things that you've done, I would imagine have been a huge contributor to your success as well, because you're learning from others. That's right. As well, right? We all.
That's how we all learn.
Yes, 100%. And let me tell you, this lady has dedicated her life really to this parish in particular. And of course, she can sell houses in other areas, and I'm sure does.
I do sell, and last year was actually a big year in Baton Rouge, which central in the Baton Rouge market. My base is here.
Yes.
And my love of what I do is looking at a piece of property and having a vision for what that property needs to look like.
Yes.
And I'm blessed to have a developer that is, that supports me in that vision and follows through with it. And so it's something bringing something positive to the parish. So it's my way to give back.
Yes.
Is the way I look at it. And a legacy to leave for my grandchildren.
Legacy. A huge thing. And you don't realize that till you're older.
I think I did when I was young, because my parents were always both very involved politically and just in growth. My dad loved, like I said earlier, to develop. So I think that I kind of had a taste for that when I was young.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. And I wish I could say the same, but when I was young, I was very competitive. And in the sales business, number one's an important thing. And I always pushed myself. I wanted to be in that number one spot, knew I was capable of it, and knew what it took to get there. And that was my mindset as I got older and matured.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
I started looking at what am I really doing for my community? You know, I'm doing a lot for myself and my family. And, you know, I paid taxes. I tithed at my church. I did all those things. But outside of that, what am I giving of myself? Because one day, you know, when I'm 150 or whatever, and I'm laying on a bed and maybe taking my last breaths, I don't want to be sitting there. You know, I figured out that what was important in life wasn't necessarily always hitting the top of that rung. The funny thing I discovered was giving more of myself to my community. I still hit the top of that rung.
Right.
You know, I realized that there's a connection.
Never enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just always looking to do something better. Yes.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. Hey, y'all. There is nothing worse than paying more for your mortgage than you have to. When I needed a mortgage loan, I called the local mortgage experts at Home Key Mortgage. Not only did I receive the best interest rate possible, but the service was impeccable, making the entire process quick and easy. Already have a mortgage? No problem. The experts at Home Key Mortgage offer refinance options to fit any budget. Located in both Hammond and Denham Springs, Home Key Mortgage is convenient to my area and local, and I love that. For more information, visit them on the web at homekeymtg.com. That's HOMEKEYMTG.com. Now, you talked about relationships a little bit, and relationships with clients is something that you're known for. Trust. How important is trust in your business?
1,000%.
Yeah.
I would say of my steady, regular clients, you know, they ultimately have the decision.
Yes.
But they really lean on me to make that decision for them.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to have that relationship. And I'm really lucky that I become friends with the majority of my clients. Now, it also means that I'm going to a lot of dinners and a lot of different things, but
Sure.
hey, I enjoy it and I meet more people from it.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have trust, you really don't have anything. And I've never looked at it as a one-time sale. I look at it as this is a relationship starting, and where do we take this relationship from here?
Yes.
So,
Yes, 100%. You have a crew. We talked about them, Kayla and Krewe. How, you know, there was a time, Miss Kayla, where there wasn't necessarily teams, I guess
Correct.
you could call them. It was, you know, agents were just selling houses, and then I would imagine somewhere along the line said, you know, I need some help, and they brought someone in, and now teams are a lot more common than they used to be, right? Especially when you were early.
They are. And my team is not exactly like most teams. So
Yeah.
most teams, it's more about building and getting agents to work underneath them. I've tried it. I'll be honest. I don't love it.
Yeah.
I'm doing good to manage me, right? So
Right.
on our team, while everyone is licensed, Meg is licensed, Brooke is licensed, and of course I'm licensed, they are not focusing on the sales side. Now, Meg's in college. I'm hoping she will focus more on the sales once she finishes college next year. I'm counting the days down probably quicker than her mom and daddy. She is about keeping my paperwork, my contracts in shape, making sure that I'm legal.
Yes.
Brooke handles all my marketing. I don't want to know about that. I know that. Look, I'm not techie. I'm a salesperson. I am not a techie person.
Right.
That's her side. And I said it earlier, I stay in my lane.
Yes.
I do the sales. I am the person to find the leads. They do get, or and when I say leads, I mean the listings, the buyers. They do get the calls, and especially when I'm out of town, they're fixing to have to step up their game when I'm out of the country, and really handle clients more. But they know how to do everything. That's just not their primary focus. That's my primary focus.
Yes.
Where most teams have. I mean, I have one friend that has, I don't know, 15, 20 people on their team. I just see that as a large corporation.
Yeah,
So that's it. That intimidates me, believe it or not. Some people intimidate me, but I don't know that I have the time to actually dedicate to what it takes. I did back in the day with Shelley and with Matt, but my training is by get in the car, ride with me, and listen to me talk on the phone.
Right.
That's where you're going to learn.
Yeah, 100%.
And so you really have to have, if you have those big teams, somebody that can sit down and train those agents. And unfortunately, I just haven't found that way of doing it.
Well, I think
too busy on the sales side.
That's right. You're bread and butter.
Side.
Yeah. And it's working for you, obviously.
Everybody's got to do what works for them.
That's right. And so you're doing a great job there. Your team is just rocking and rolling. You give a lot of credit to them as well, which is awesome. So let's talk about your broker for just a second.
All right. This can get good.
The worldwide Lawson Covington.
Yes.
Of course, his dad, Covington, who was very well known here, had a lot of roots. Where you started. How awesome is it to work for Lawson?
It's great. I think I said earlier, he was like one of my kids growing up, and just a part of our life, and we have such a great relationship as far as, again, trust. I know that he's got my back, and sometimes in my career, he is, things have happened, and maybe lost somebody that was, an assistant, and they went on to do something else or whatever, and he makes sure that, whatever the office needs to do to keep me flowing and on a steady, it's here. I'm here. But he's not like that just for me. He's like that with every one of us. He's one of the few brokers that you're going to see in the office every day. Yeah. And he is hands-on. He knows what's going on. There's I've talked to him even about, what if we do a council? We get our top agents, and he said, no, I'll make the decision. So anyway, I got shut down. I don't get shut down on too much, but I did get shut down on that one. I get shut down on that and a covered parking lot, because on those rainy days, I just look at my hair now. I have appointments. But, but he's truly, and again, he's local, Yes. And I'm so proud of us where we are, because we're not a franchise company.
That's right.
And so for an independent company to have the stats that we do, and be in the top 10, and really we're in the top 5, I think that we probably came out number 1 in the Baton Rouge area, I believe is where we were last year. If not, it was number 2. But it's right there for independent companies, which is great. Because,
it's something to be proud of.
People still look at Livingston Parish as a small town, and we're just not.
No, we got some big brains here.
We have some big brains.
That's for sure.
Right.
Very impressive people in this parish, for sure. And I'll say something about the Covington family, and that is they are LP folks, and just good people.
Good people. And he's very much in supporting this parish. I mean, and that's why you see our signs everywhere.
That's right.
Because we contribute to just about everything that's going on in this parish.
100%. Was there ever a time, and I got to imagine that over 34 years, where you had the thought, I'm going to be a broker. I want to, I'm going to look into being a broker. Ever a time in your...
So I never had that thought.
Yeah.
I had clients have that thought for me. I've had 3 different clients say, if it's the money, we'll back you. Just do your own thing. If I did that, I cannot contribute the time to the clients that I think I need to contribute. Because being a broker is one thing. I would never want to wear that hat.
Yeah.
You're responsible for every word that comes out of an agent's mouth.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Just
hugely.
saying, you know, and everything that's done. And that's not the side I love. What I love is finding that land, being a part of the developing of the land, finding the buyers and getting them in their favorite house.
Yeah.
That's where I get bed. It's just not about growing a company that has my name.
I love it. And you're right. I mean, there are a lot of people who are high performing in their industry that, a promotion will come along or something like, and they're like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm doing good doing what I'm doing. And this is where I feel like I fit. And,
I don't know of many people that can wear multiple hats, and especially at the level of production. I mean, my team, and knock on wood, we're blessed, but we do a lot more volume individually than a lot of small companies do.
Yeah.
And so we have our company within Covington and Associates.
Yes.
And I have no reason to ever want to leave.
That's
because I know where my bread is buttered.
As the old saying goes, one of my favorite sayings. So I asked you about large influences in your life, and you mentioned your late father, John Ellis Lockhart. I want to read this, and then I'm going to make a point on it. You said he is the one that introduced me to development at a very young age. He developed land as a hobby, and every Sunday after lunch, we rode around and looked at properties to see if he could find a piece of land he wanted to play with. So I got the love of it from him.
Yes.
Obviously a very important person in your life, of course, your father. But what he gave you from a guy standing outside looking in is he gave you a love, that first love for what you would make your life's work, right?
Correct. That's
wow.
right.
That's an impression.
Yeah.
I mean, when you stop and think about that, your entire life, and what a good living you have made was based off of an impression from your father. So that's a heck of a testament.
Yeah. I was just recently riding with my mom, or she was riding with me, and someone had called in, and I don't even remember what we were talking about, but it was a real estate deal. And I hung up, and she said, "Your dad would be so proud." And I have to tell you, that's probably and I know that he would be so proud.
Yes.
But it could never have happened without him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get emotional.
It's a huge,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But to me, it's very heartwarming because, especially as a father,
Yes.
when I read that, I distinctly looked up and I said, man, I hope my kids, my daughters, my son one day maybe say that about me.
Well,
that's a huge thing.
I think parents are such, they don't realize just what an influence they are. And I was blessed with two great parents. Beautiful story. They started liking each other at 12 years old. My mom was sitting watching, she went to the ball field and sees this boy playing, and she says to one of her friends, "Oh, he's cute." And the friend said, "He lives next door to my grandma." Well, guess what? They started visiting grandma a lot.
Yeah.
And so there we have it. That's how they ended up. And he passed away. It was 49 years. They would have made 50 years that year. And so he's definitely a loss in our family. He was successful in his own career, which really wasn't development. The development was just his love.
Hobby. Yeah.
It was a hobby.
Yeah.
And he also liked to travel. And he grew up. Dad died when he was 6. He had 2 great uncles that are not great, but they were great in person. J.W. Ellis, that was a businessman here, and his son, George Edwards, still has the business. Uncle Owen Lockhart, also businessman, large family in here, had 7 daughters. And all of them have been very successful, names in which you would definitely know throughout. And those 2 men guided him to be the person that he was. And Vernon Ray Miller was another person that really helped him to become a successful individual.
Wow.
And that's how we have to be for these children. And unfortunately, I think that has been lost somewhere, that link has.
Yes.
And I just, it's so sad. So I want to be that for my grandkids. I want them to see that you work hard and then you reap the benefits from that work. So you get what you put into it. It doesn't just fall from the tree. And you've got to work hard at it. And I am blessed that my mom was a hard worker. I mean, there are days that Dad's company might be doing bad. Mom would work overtime. She retired from Bell South, and or South Central Bell. And so she, which is now AT&T, she also was a leader because she had the balance. Now, she also was the mom that would call all of us and say, okay, what do you want? And this one wanted one food and this one wanted the other. And she might go through 4 drive-throughs to get it. You know,
Yes.
She wasn't going to cook every day, but she gave us what we needed in the love and the nurturing. And Dad was a very, not a talker. I got my talking from my mother, thank God. One of them, because Dad didn't talk much. But when he talked, which is so much my son, when he talks, you listen.
Yes.
Because what's coming out of his mouth is knowledge.
Yeah.
And so he gave me that ability to listen to what people are saying. And that, I think, attributes to my cells because I'm hearing what they want.
Yes.
So I did take away a whole lot. And Zig Ziglar seminar I went to years ago.
Love Zig.
I do too.
I'm a Zig it from way back.
This probably, I would say, is 25 years, 28 years that I had gone to this seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the best gift a dad, and I say parent, is to love their mother, which in reverse to would be to love the husband.
Yes.
And I truly think I was given that gift. That is the gift because I saw so much love between them and I saw what they did. And knowing my mom came from a family that, I'm not going to say they were wealthy, but they were very secure. My dad didn't come from that. I mean, he started working a job, you know, when he was just a little boy. I mean, I think he was 7 years old when he started being paper boy.
Yeah.
And so he started at a young age, but then became extremely successful. And his funeral was 100% a testament to that because in 2 hours, over 700 people went through the building. And we know that because we had the pamphlets and not everybody got through. And so that's where I knew and the stories that, you know, I heard were just amazing. I want to be that person. He had sent 6 of my friends to college and I didn't know it until the day of the funeral. And they told me I knew of one. Wow. And I want to give back because you cannot receive if you do not give. And that is, you know, what everyone needs to take, and especially in the world we live in today.
I think that's some of the best advice ever. And it's absolutely accurate. You know, leaders really leading is about giving back. It's giving, and you do such a great job of that. You're obviously your father's daughter. I cannot tell you how blessed I feel to sit across from you and just listen to this, you know, all the things that you're saying and you're so deeply rooted in this community and have been in your family, and you're obviously proud of your family name, and you should be. But it's really no surprise to me that you're as successful as you have. You had some great people to look up to and watch on the way up, right? And your father was one of those people. Fit blends of Denham Springs can help you with everything from meal prep to supplements. I love it that they serve breakfast all day in addition to the best ultra healthy wraps you can really get anywhere in Livingston Parish. They are home of the $5 Smoothie Friday and are an amazing sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Fit blends Denham Springs, fast, fit food for you. Let me ask you, for someone that has been in this community forever, the growth. You know, Livingston Parish sure has grown, right?
Yeah.
And to me, growth is a beautiful thing.
It is. Positive growth.
Positive growth. You have to be, that's right, smart growth, I call it. But also growth is good for business, right?
That's right.
You know,
for all businesses.
Yes.
Rooftops.
look, you can't pave roads without people coming into a community.
That's exactly right.
We all wish that we had 100 acres and that was our closest neighbor and we could visit when we want to. But there's so many things you cannot do. You will kill a community quick if you don't have anybody coming into it at all. And so it's just being smart about that and balancing that, I think. But you have seen it. I mean, you've seen it from, rock roads to paved roads to Bass Pro Shops and everything in between, right?
I mean, Highway 16 was 2-lane when I grew up. Now look at it.
Yeah, just amazing. And Livingston Parish is certainly, I would say, on its way up, but we've been up for a while. I mean, I'm proud to live here, and it's a testament to our leaders we have in this community as well.
That's right.
You're very good friends with the parish president, and so how has that been, that relationship, through the years and
we
with
banter
Mr.
a
Ricks?
lot. Well, the good thing about friendship, and Jeff Taylor is also another great friend of mine. He and Delia and Susan and Leighton, and we don't always agree. And I don't mind telling him when we don't agree.
That sounds like some of my friends.
It's what friends are for. Shouldn't we be honest with each other?
That's right.
He has also been helpful when I need. I don't call unless I really need. I think that this group has they've done a great job. I think there's more to do. And, but yeah, Leighton and I have people say all the time, or our group, we don't know what's ever coming out of your mouth. And
that's okay.
Either love or hate it. I don't know.
That's it. That's it. So let me ask you, obviously you got things going on right now in the real estate world, and you're a mover and a shaker, and we want to talk about some of those things. So let's do that. I know one of the communities that tell me about Riverbank.
So Riverbank is new, and that one actually kind of moved a little quicker for me because it was being developed by Mickey McKnighton and Aaron Goolsby, which I work with and have a great working relationship with. Aaron had it, and he had kind of made mention that they would sell, and I said, if you sell, let me know. I have a builder that I think will buy it out. So we did. So I was not involved in the actual development of that property, but the history back goes to the Underwoods, which is my grandmother's family. It still has some of my roots into it. It's beautiful. The lot size is 0.4 and up to about a half acre. 114 foot wide lot, which is unheard of this day and time.
100%.
Here's one of the best. It did not flood. Did not come near water in 16. That's fantastic. Not in a flood zone. And it has a lot of 100-year-old oak trees on the property. One entire side of it, every lot has the 100-year-old oak tree. And that, if I would have had that to develop, if I would have been in the beginning of it, I would have done it exactly like they did it. So they saved those trees.
Wow. Awesome.
Matter of fact, speaking of Leighton, and I'll give him the kudos for this, he helped us get around having to cut some down because there was a servitude that they were going to have to cut a whole line down. And I called him. I said, this isn't a phone call. I need you to come meet us. And we were under contract to buy the lots, but Mickey was still developing. And he said, we are not cutting these oak trees down. And we were able to kind of change some things up and have the parish, work with us on it in order to get it drainage to all be correct, but not have to take these trees down.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, because that would have been a horrible thing.
Yeah, Brooke just reminded me. This one also, one thing that I hear a lot is people do not like front drive-in garages. So this subdivision, there will be none. They will all be rear garages.
Oh.
So
that's a great perk.
We can do it because of the size of the lot and the depth of the lot.
Very good. Yes. Very good. So we're going to, hopefully we'll have some things that are popping up as you and I are talking on that. And also any other developments that
we do. So that one also I'll add SLC will be the builder in that development. We have John McDowell has bought out the last lots of Magnolia Farms. The price ranges in Riverbank are going to start at 400. In Magnolia Farms, we will start in that 270 range. We have 7 houses coming up there. I was involved with that subdivision also in the beginning, and these are some leftover lots that the builder that bought them just never built on them. So
Gotcha.
we're going to take those and finish that little project out. And then probably my hardest and lengthiest project is also where I call it my final resting place because it's where I'm building my personal home. But it's the Ivy, and it's here in the city limits of Denham Springs. It is a definite different trend to what we've seen in the parish, and I'm so excited about that. We have a dog park.
Yeah.
I mean, no subdivision in the parish has a dog park.
No. And
so this one does. We have 2,500 square feet of walking, 2,500 feet. I see I'm so used to talking about houses, but 2,500 feet of nature walking trails. So there are 45 different types of camellia bushes on this property. Now, some did have to be moved off property in order for the roads, but we tried to keep everything on property. Just a couple were moved off property. It's beautiful.
Awesome.
It is not a gated subdivision, and people do ask me that because we have beautiful gates up at the front, which part of the history of that subdivision, it was the Cochran family, so it's off of Cochran Road. And
great location, by the way.
Great location. Did not flood again. Water did not touch it. So again, flood zone X and 16, no water. So that property, the front of it was wooded. When I got the call about it, it was from an attorney, and it was heirs that were in conflict with each other. That's a nice way of putting it. And so we actually worked on this property to get it 2.5, 3 years. It was lengthy.
Yes.
And so it was a challenge. But when we went to it, I only ended up with a half acre of wetlands, which is a water trail that's running through it, just kind of nature trail.
Yeah.
And so it was just prime. And the back of it was all farmland before.
Yeah.
And it's right here in the city limits, right between the Willows and Meadowwood Park. It has done wonderful. We have 58 lots. And I'm actually, Grady Hornsby's daughter is coming back to town, and she's building there. And I just left Mike Cables on her plans. So, bringing back some old history, and people have just kind of watched it go up. Every house in the subdivision has a front porch, has a lake on the property. It actually has 2 lakes with fountains in them. I'm trying to think of what else. It can be gated down the way if the subdivision and the HOA decides they want to make it gated. The gates are there. I know where I was headed with the Cockrums. We tore the old house down. I did salvage some of the old, very detailed wood pieces that I will incorporate into my own house.
Yep.
And then we took the iron that has an ivy trellis. We took that, and it is incorporated at the bottom of the gates. So
that's awesome.
We kept that from the original.
Love
and
it.
then the developer, which is Harold Davidson, he is married to Pat Ivy, and the year in which her parents passed is the year that we were kind of kicking off and getting started, right?
Yeah.
And so the name Ivy came from her parents, and that is where. But we kept coming up with Ivy things like plants, and then the trellis, and so it just all fell together, and we keep that heritage of, again, old Denham Springs.
It's our history.
It is our history,
right? I mean, even in this studio right here, I have the old Denham Springs golf. Denham Springs Country Club sign hanging right out there. Saved it from a dumpster.
I love it.
Can you believe that?
And I don't want to get rid of any of that. I want to keep it. I love being able to do something and make it better. And
100%.
Harold's brother is a city inspector, and he sends us a picture one day. And what we didn't know is the old man Cochran that was a mayor here in the city. Mm-hmm. His name was Ivy Cochran. I never knew that.
Wow.
And so it was like, wow. And, he was part of this original property. So
much history.
Just so much history. And I really am very proud of that subdivision. But I've been, I was able to be a part of Greystone from the beginning. And we have new filings, 5 new filings coming up in Greystone.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that. Wish I had them now because I think I'd sell every lot in 24 hours. We get calls daily just about it for Greystone lots.
I'm excited about those 5 new filings.
So am I.
Yeah, very good. So, and we want to tell people if they want to look at, obviously you have other listings besides those.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
If they want to see, I'm sure a lot of people are watching this and we want her as our agent. So
I hope, yeah.
If they want to see what you have for sale, how would they do that?
So they can go on our website and a Covington website. They can go to Realtor.com. I mean, there's so many sources now being technology. You can get it just about. I mean, our feed goes out to everywhere. And look, if they are working with an agent, have their agent call me if they have any questions regarding the property. We just listed a beautiful property in Greystone subdivision, $945,000 for it. It's got course views. It's on a lot and a half. Just a fantastic place. The true southern look to it. So, or southern charm. Yeah. And so anyway, there's multiple ways of getting to either us or their agent. I don't try to steal from anybody. If you want to use us, come use us, and we are thankful and happy to have you. But if you have an agent, I respect that loyalty and have the agent call me, and we'll be glad to help them any way we can.
Very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to link your website and in your Facebook to the description of this video. That way, if you're listening to this, or hopefully you're not watching it while you're driving, but you might be listening to it, you can just scroll down, click on that. That'll bring you to all the listings, and people can see all the amazing homes you have and for sale and all of that good stuff. Did you have fun?
I did. I wasn't quite as nervous as I thought I would be.
Well, I tried to put you at ease.
You did. You started it off right with the book. That definitely gave me some ease.
Well, I loved it. And we do fun facts on this show, so I want to cover those before you get out of here. Goodness. Yeah, I loved these. I asked you if you purchased a yacht, what would you name it? You said Floating Free. I actually love that.
Yeah, Brooke did too.
Yeah,
so, and I did. I
came up with that
one. Yes.
Come on,
she's got good genes.
Yeah, that's where you get it from. Your dream job. This one tripped me out. Dream job when you were 12, hairdresser.
It was.
How about that?
To work for my Uncle Hal.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, there's always time after you maybe retire from this, which will probably never happen. You can do that hairdresser
But on that job
stuff.
issue, I will tell you, it has changed. It's now to be the weather person.
Yeah.
So I tell my kids I'm coming back as the weather person.
I wanted to be a weather person.
Well, you know why?
Why?
You never have to be right, and everybody still loves you.
That's right.
It's going to be said at my funeral.
Yeah, I'm never mad at Jay Grimes.
We just know it's probably not going to be right because the weather changes.
It's almost the opposite of whatever they say.
Absolutely.
Typically. Yeah. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And I actually loved this. You said to fix the world we're living in and give our children the life I was raised in and bring Christ back to the forefront and bring families back together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's missing, isn't it?
It is.
In a lot of ways.
It is missing in too many ways.
Yeah.
And I touched on it earlier, and it is something that really pulls on my strings a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good superpower. I said be invisible, so I felt horrible. I'm a horrible person.
I'm not saying that there aren't times I want to be invisible,
right.
But if I could fix anything, that would definitely be it.
Very good. And if you could travel anywhere in the world, no surprise, British Virgin Islands, again, you say.
Again, because
you love that place.
It's my heaven. Now, I am excited about my coming trip, but
yes.
I do love that place.
Absolutely. And one more question before I let you get out of here. What states can you currently transact business in? Just Louisiana? Is that where you're licensed?
We are licensed in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Okay.
So I am working on now. What's interesting about Mississippi, we are licensed in the hunting land section of Mississippi. So you're northern, not your Gulf side.
Yeah, it's a great
And
place.
I am kind of looking at some opportunities on the Gulf part,
Yeah.
but I want to get our team intact. So I would say in a year or two, look for Kayla and Krewe to have some other hats.
Awesome. Very good. Kayla and Krewe, Gulf Coast. I can see it now. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we are looking at something pretty hard.
Awesome. Well, I very much enjoyed this. It was fun. Thank you for sharing some of your life with us and a little bit of your history that you're obviously very proud of. And it's been an honor. You're a leader. There's no doubt about it. And 34 years of just, dominating the real estate market is impressive. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank all the viewers and listeners for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing Local Leaders, the podcast. If you would like to appear on Local Leaders, please reach out to me at jim@localleadersthepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman reminding you, love your community, support local business and local real estate agents, and keep leading. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.